Greetings to everyone. Today this is for women. Let me remind you once again that this is your world. This is your planet, just in case you happen to forget. Let me start with the Stone Age. Yes, when it really was the Stone Age, clubs, brute force, and so on, wild animals. Well, that time is long gone, long past. But it seems as if some segments of our human society have still preserved those ways. So let's make an effort and finally leave the Stone Age behind completely. The role of women, but the function, such an add-on, the function of wife and mother, so to give birth, yes, and to be some sort of add-on, a utility. It's quite a modest role, really. Oh, and also as decoration, that is to serve for beauty. That time has passed, it's over. That's it. I strongly encourage you to leave that state behind and realize your full potential. Just think about it, okay? The meaning of life is to be liked. But then where are you, your inner self now, your talents, dreams, abilities? So what's going on with our world, basically? The world is skewed, and it's like, well, I can see that clearly. I hope I'm not the only one in the world who feels this way. That's it. The world is masculine, and as for the feminine, well, you barely show up at all. There is practically no real feminine presence. So here's the question. Don't you get bored? If the meaning of life is just to be liked, again, what are you supposed to do with your whole personality, right? Isn't there a cry from the soul that you want to realize yourself fully and not just squeeze yourself into some preconceived notions or frameworks that were invented long ago? Let's talk about what's supposedly for women. Look, if you're familiar with psychology, you surely know that it's impossible to make another person happy, and it's also impossible to do things for someone else exactly the way they want. If you want to do something, you should do it. That's it. If it seems to you that someone is doing something for you, just take a closer look at the context. There's also a big question. How mentally healthy are these doers? And even mentally healthy people can do something for another person. You need to express yourself and do it on your own. It's not a burden, it's freedom. Yo, to build your own planet. Yo, your own world, so that you can express yourself and do things the way you like. I think that's, well, amazing, because when someone else does it for you, especially if they're not particularly mentally healthy, and it's even worse if it's basically programmed like this. Okay, here's this functionality. They're asking for it, but I'll do it in a way that allows me to control it. And supposedly it's for you. But in reality, an even bigger cage is built, with even more restrictions piled on. Stay within this and don't go beyond the boundaries of what you're allowed. That's it. Again, the question is, where are you, but with your entire structure, with all your inner content, so to speak, right? With your own self-expression. You matter. It's essential to express yourself, to allow yourself to be, and to fill this world with your presence. Realize your talents and abilities. Express them in all areas, because there is far too little of this. The world is male-oriented. You can just take a look. Just notice how little is actually made for women. In fact, the best option is for women to do things themselves, right? Whether it's motorcycles, Paratomkar, for example, which are too heavy to lift. I'm thinking about getting a motorcycle license, and I remember a time when I just fell over. I couldn't hold it up. I don't deny that when the wind blows, if I'm riding in an open area, there's a real chance I could literally be blown away. But I imagine that we are capable of creating the kind of technology, the kind of world, the kind of planet, well, I personally have stepped away, that we need, that we like, that suits us, that meets our needs. That's it. Express yourselves. You are valuable, you are important, and You need to go out there and show your full spectrum. You don't need to ask for permission. You are valuable as a person. You are complete. These are echoes of the Stone Age. No one can tell you what to eat, how to dress, and so on. I mean, I understand that this oppression still exists in countries even now. Of course, here on Earth, actions need to be taken. Just dreaming about it doesn't make anything happen. Of course, you should take initiative, introduce bills and pass laws at the state level so that you enjoy living here and feel comfortable, so that it meets your needs, your requests, your personality, so that the laws are structured in such a way that you are free and protected, so that no one dictates to you, and so that your body serves as a source of pleasure first and foremost for you, not for someone else. And not to be just an appendage or some kind of function, but to respect yourself. And regarding the body, of course, we need to shift the world in the other direction so that there is enough respect to exist comfortably in this world. I'm giving examples so that I can be understood, even on a rational level. For instance, let's take sexual violence. If, say, the violence was committed against a man, I'll just use some hypothetical numbers. I'm not an expert in this. Deprivation of liberty for 5 years. If sexual violence was committed against a woman, then it's 25 years of imprisonment and so on. In other words, by using such examples, the goal is for the world to get used to start respecting and not to consider it as just some function or something insignificant, as if this body belongs to someone else and not first and foremost to yourself. Exactly. The idea is to retrain the world, yes, and in this way to create a world that matches the vision of what the world should be, because this is your world, your planet. Please remember this and express yourself in any field you wish, science or mathematics, programming, anything at all. You don't need any kind of universal intermediary or anything like that. You can do it directly. A woman and God, directly. A woman and business, directly. Women and money, directly. Women in science, directly. Reject this intermediary in the form of the male gender. Just take responsibility for your own life and act directly. You don't need any kind of buffer or intermediary. Build a life you love. Build a world you love, because the world changes through action. And of course, first and foremost, start accepting yourself, seeing your own breadth.